Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Chris and today is the fourth Q&A here on this channel. If you guys are not familiar with this style of video, basically you guys just drop your questions down in the comments and in the next video I will answer them. So that's pretty much it. I did also ask you guys on a video last week if you guys had any additional questions for me. So I'll be answering those as well, but without me talking too much, let's just get started. So the first few questions here have been asked by channel members, so first off, huge thank you to the channel members for directly supporting all of the stuff that I'm doing here. And if you are interested in becoming a channel member, you can click the join button next to the channel name, or if you're on an iOS device for whatever reason the join button doesn't show, there is a link in the description. With becoming a channel member, you'll get access to behind the scenes updates, early access to videos, and also exclusive videos as well. So that is something that you do not want to miss out on. So if you're interested, click the link in the description down below or the join button next to the channel name. But the first question is, what is your oldest and complete Lego set, both modular and non-modular? And what is your favorite set that is not a modular building? So I'm going to answer the first part first. And the oldest modular that I own is the Pet Shop. I don't think you can see it from here, but it's next to Assembly Square and the Brick Bank. I love that set so much. It didn't rank as high as I had expected it to on my ranking of all of the modular buildings, but overall I'm really happy with it. I think it looks great. I would love to collect the even older ones as well, but that'll happen in due time. And the oldest set that I own that is not a modular building is set 6540 from 1991. That is actually currently on my shelving in the other part of the studio here, but I really like it. I think it's a nice little set, and overall it's before my time, so I guess to give an answer that's from my personal collection, the oldest set I can remember would be the Duplo stuff, but in the actual system-based stuff, it would probably be the Temple Escape from Indiana Jones. I love that set so much, and I also have the new one, which I bought as well, and I have them next to each other, so it's really cool. But the other part of the question is, what is your favorite set that's not a modular building? Probably that Temple Escape set. Probably that one or the Orient Express. Those are probably my top two favorite sets, and even including the modular buildings, those are still my top two. Rivendell would probably make that top two, top three as well if I had it, but unfortunately I don't have it yet. I do plan on getting that at some point though before it retires. All right, so the next question here asks, your channel has gone through a tremendous growth in the past year. I'd like to know some of your key learnings from managing a YouTube channel and how you evolve to maintain the momentum and keep the audience engaged. First of all, thank you. That momentum and that growth and all of that stuff would not be possible without you guys. So seriously, thank you. I really appreciate it. I didn't think when I started this that anyone would want to watch these videos. I started making them just because I used to take pictures all the time of my city, and you know, the pictures get lost or you delete them on accident, and so I figured uploading videos to YouTube would be a good way to kind of keep track of the progress, and then I could go back and watch the videos myself. But the main thing from maintaining a YouTube channel and trying to grow it is essentially keeping your core values at heart, which for me is just making videos that I would want to watch. I've been watching YouTube videos about Lego content for almost 15 years now, and I personally, there's a certain type of video that I want to watch, and there's a certain type of video that I am not interested in watching, and so I want to make that kind of content, because if I don't even want to watch my own video, there's no reason why anyone else would want to watch it either. So that's how I maintain the channel. You know, I just keep that in the back of my mind at all times, like, is this a type of video that I would want to watch, and do I get information out of it, or do I get entertainment out of it, or if you're lucky you get both. Doing both is kind of hard, but picking at least one of those two things is usually the right way to go. And then the second part of that is to maintain the momentum and keep the audience engaged. Again, that goes back to just consistency and making the type of video that I would want to watch. And so by making stuff that I think is interesting, I have more passion, and I think that carries across the camera to you guys. But yeah, as for specifically maintaining momentum, a lot of it is just consistency. Yeah, I've uploaded at least one piece of media every single day since I think July. And so I've been doing this for a decent length of time now, and I'm posting either a video or a short or both, or at least one of those things, and also a post either to members or to the public. And I'm also on Instagram now as well, so that link is also in the description if you're interested in following me over there. Those are more casual updates and really cool screenshots of the city, which I think are really interesting. So if you're interested in that, definitely click the link in the description as well for that. But maintaining momentum is just consistency, and it's a lot of work, but it is definitely worth it. You know, I would be doing most of this stuff anyways, and so being able to share it with you guys is a really nice bonus. And also it keeps me on track as well. So then that way I'm actually making progress every day, and I'm working on stuff consistently, and I'm always tinkering and trying new things out. And overall, there's a lot more growth with it as well with the YouTube channel. So they kind of go hand in hand, and they kind of elevate each other as they go. But yeah, once again, this growth would not be possible without you guys. So seriously, thank you. So the next question is, have you thought about designing your own modulars to use instead of the ones that you missed out on, i.e. your own firehouse or grocery shop rather than the Lego one? And I have thought about this actually. I have a couple of custom buildings in the city here. I don't know if I'm pointing to them exactly, but I have a few custom ones. I would love to have more, but it is just a thing about pieces and time. The pieces that I have a lot of pieces, but a lot of them aren't useful for any specific project that I'm working on. And I do really like building custom stuff, but the classic modular buildings, especially the ones that I missed out on, are really iconic and classic, and I would love to add them to the city if I can. But I understand that that's not realistic because it's a lot of money to get even just one of them as opposed to the 7 or 8 of them that I'm missing. So being able to make custom ones for a fraction of the price, I think is really cool as well. And I would definitely consider making my own firehouse or, you know, my own town hall or anything like that. I would be very interested in doing that to see what I could come up with, especially with the pieces that I have, because that's where a lot of the creativity comes from. You know, you just have a limited parts selection and you get some nice, interesting part usage, which is actually how I came up with the brick built sign on my flower shop in a recent video. And there's a number of other designs as well that I wouldn't have come up with otherwise if I had a massive selection of pieces. So overall, I would love to get those older buildings, but I am also interested in building more custom buildings on top of the ones that I already have. So the next question is, are you going to add any houses to your city? And unfortunately, no. I could build them. I could also buy them, but I don't think that's realistic with the space that I have. I already have a dedicated section for everything in the city, but I can't just add the houses in without taking something out. And everything that I have in here is deliberate. It's intentional. And I don't think adding a few houses would really elevate the city in any way. And so I would love to have like a residential section, but unfortunately it's just not in the cards for the city layout. If I ever expand, that would be something that I would love to add. That would probably be one of the first things that I'd add, besides more trains and stuff like that. But overall, I would love to do that. I did actually see the other day the Lego group unveiled the Twilight set with the house. It's a beautiful looking house. I've never seen Twilight and I don't really care about it, but I think it's a nice looking house, and I would, if I had a residential section, I'd love to add that. But also I would love to make my own custom ones as well, and I think having that nice mix of official sets and the custom ones so that people can get a sense of scale for the official sets. Because if you have a set in your collection like the Palace Cinema or the Natural History Museum, you can look at that set in your collection and you can compare it to what you see on the screen here, and you can see just the size and scale of what I'm building. So that's why I like having official Lego sets in my city and in my builds. But overall, a residential section will not be in this current city layout, but if it ever expands, that would be one of the top things that I would want to add. Do you have any ideas for smaller YouTubers is the next question here. And I do. I have quite a few actually, so I hope I don't take up too much time with this. But the number one thing that I would say is to be creative. You know, you could have a very limited part selection, a very limited amount of space, but you can make a lot happen in that. This main table right here is 72 square feet. And so I have quite a bit of room to work with. Obviously, it's not Bricksy or Brick Crafts or Bricks with these massive cities that take up the entire room. I can only have a portion of the room for this. But I think having the space that I have, I can have everything spaced out enough while still having a lot of stuff in it and not overcrowding everything. So I think that's nice, but if you have a very shallow area, you can still have a train go around and have buildings. You could just have multiple layers to it like Mr. Bookyboo has done, or a number of other people have done in their cities, and I think that's a fantastic idea. And also going back to what I said earlier, consistency is probably the biggest part of it. And so I have been making videos every single day for over 6 months now, and I created this channel almost a year ago. So there's a lot that's going into it, and there's a lot that's coming out of it as well. You know, I get your guys' feedback and your guys' suggestions, and I really appreciate hearing from every single one of you. But the hard work is something that you have to dedicate yourself. You can't outsource that. And so you have to be willing to put the time and the effort in to make this kind of thing happen. Even if it's not Lego, it has to be something. But you have to be willing to put the time and the effort in. And if you're not willing to do that, the channel's not going to go anywhere. So I think the more that you put into it, the more that you're going to get out of it, which is very evident from what I've done here. And I haven't even been doing it for that long. And so just imagine if you did it for a year or you did it for 5 years, you know, imagine where you could be after that. So those are probably the 3 things that I would suggest the most is be creative, be consistent, and work hard at it. And there's a number of other things too that you could focus on, like lighting and the type of camera that you're using and all that stuff. But I film on my phone. I use the lights that are built into the room here. I don't do anything fancy. And yeah, the lighting isn't perfect, but my phone color corrects most of it before I even import the videos into the editing software, which I use Premiere Pro. But you don't need to use a paid software for that either. There's a plethora of free software out there. If you use Apple devices, there's iMovie, and then you could use a bunch of different other things on your phone even. You can edit stuff on your phone, which is crazy. But there's a number of things that you can also focus on, but the big 3 would be the consistency, the creativity, and working hard. And there's a number of other stuff too, like the type of content that you're making as well. City content is going to perform differently than Star Wars content, which is going to perform differently than custom stuff, which is going to perform different than building techniques, which is, and you know, the cycle just keeps going and going. But I think finding at least one thing and kind of sticking to it so that you almost have like a brand identity. Obviously, it's not like a business, you know, but having that identity so people can see your thumbnails and recognize who you are, I think that's really beneficial as well. And so that's why I try and incorporate a lot of similar things into my thumbnails so that people can say, oh yeah, this is a video from Chris. I wonder how ChrisBricks is doing. Let me check in, see what kind of video he's doing today. And so instead of just randomly clicking on a video and say, oh, I think I remember that guy. think I remember watching his videos a while ago. And so kind of keeping that consistency, again, it goes back to consistency. Keeping that consistent thumbnail and consistent editing style and all of that stuff really helps make a brand identity to allow people to kind of connect with you in a different way and to have them see you from afar in the sea of recommended videos. So then you can say, oh yeah, this is this person that I've been watching consistently. Let me click on his video, see how he's doing. If I had to give one last piece of advice for this so I don't talk about it for too long, it would be to just do what you like. Obviously, I like hearing from you guys and I like having your comments so I can make stuff happen in the city and I can make changes. But at the end of the day, if something makes you happy, then so be it. I put the holiday Main Street set next to the Tudor corner, and I had a lot of people say that that was a terrible idea. I should either put it on the other side, or I should move it entirely, or I should put a different building next to it, or I should, you know, remove the trains and I should do this, do that. And there's so many different suggestions. A lot of them are great and a lot of them are good ideas, but some of them are just ridiculous and not attainable. They're not feasible with the space that I have. And so at the end of the day, this makes me happy. And so I have no problem with keeping it like this, even if everyone hates it. So this makes me happy. And I think that's another important thing to remember as well for smaller YouTubers is to don't let these negative comments affect you. At the end of the day, it's your stuff. If you're doing Lego stuff, it's your city, it's your mock, it's your studio space, whatever the case might be. And so if it makes you happy, that's the most important thing. And if you want to listen to feedback, then that's okay as well. I choose to listen to a lot of the feedback, like I had said, because I get a lot of good suggestions and I think I can implement them in a good way. But sometimes on occasion, I do get some negative comments and I do get some comments that are just not realistic. And so those types of things, I just don't even bother letting it affect me. I don't bother listening to them because this is what makes me happy. I like collecting the modulars and I like having a space to display them. So if I get to do that with both a city and a nice little display here, then so be it. But yeah, so to sum it all up, creativity, consistency, hard work, keeping yourself in mind too, and also keeping your values at heart. Like I had said at the beginning of the video, my values are to make a type of video that I would want to watch. And I think that's just a good premise for making any kind of video, even if it's not Lego related. But yeah, hopefully that segment wasn't too long. I hope you guys found at least some of that informative if I was making sense. But that is what's helped me grow with the city. And I guess that also ties back to that first question as well. That's what's helped me grow is the creativity and the consistency and just trying new stuff. And also at the end of the day, just keeping myself in mind and making this for me. So the next question, which kind of stems from that, is will you change the city layout? And I've actually given this a little bit of thought. I like a lot of the stuff that's going on right now, but I think it could be a better use of space. Obviously, if I get rid of the farm and the mountain, that would save a lot of space, and I can move the museum back and then make a custom town hall. And I can make a plaza almost for those municipal buildings. But I like having a mountain there, and I like having the farm and all of that stuff there. But until I expand the city and I have a spot to move that, I don't think that's something that I would want to change. Like I had talked about in a recent video, I am considering changing the city. Not in a major way, but moving the museum up and then moving that road that's behind it up as well. I think that would save a lot of space, and I could either make the farm bigger or I could keep the farm the same size and I could add buildings in front of it. I think that would be a really cool idea to add, and that would just help be a better use of the space, because I like the museum and I like having the green space out front of it, but I don't need a base plate and a half of green space. Actually, it's 2 base plates wide by 1.5 base plates deep, so I don't need to have that much green space out there. I could shorten it by a half base plate, so it's just 2 by 1, or I could shorten it by a full base plate, so it's just the half base plate wide by 2 base plates long section. But overall, I think that's a pretty good idea, but I won't know if I want to make those changes until I get the botanical garden set. I am planning on getting that, and I'm putting it just to the right of the screen here. I think you can see the green base plates that are not on foundations and they're not mills plated. I would put it there, and I would try and figure out, I talked about this in a video last week actually, but I want to see if the botanical garden would fit there and also how much space I should give it. But as for other changes to the city, unless I completely start over and I take everything off the table, I'm pretty happy with this layout as it is. There are a couple small things that I would change, but there's not anything major like moving a road or completely taking out a section of the city. And so I'm pretty happy with everything as it is right now. But if I expand the city, definitely some things would move around, some things would shift, and some things would change as well, both in the size and the scale and just how they're oriented in the city. I think that would definitely have to change, because some of the things right now, they work for the current position that they're in, but if I were to rotate it 90 degrees or I were to completely put it on a different table, I think that would just ruin how everything looks, and so I would pretty much just have to start from scratch. All right, so the next question here is a two-parter, and the first one is, how old are you? And then the second question is, how do you have so much time to build Lego? The first question, I'm in my 20s. I'm pretty young, all things considered, for YouTubers. You know, Brixie and these other people, like, they have families and they have kids, and like, this is their job. And so I'm just thankful that I get to do this and share it with you guys. I would love to get to the size and scale of these other channels, but if that's going to happen, that'll happen in due time. I'm not worried about it. My main focus right now is just creating good content for you guys, and also, again, keeping that in the back of my mind that this is the type of video that I would want to watch. And so as long as I'm doing that, I'm perfectly fine. And the other part of the question, which was, how do you have so much time for this? I would be building with Lego anyway, so the only real difference is that I'm just putting a camera in front of whatever I'm doing on occasion and then talking about it. And the editing does take a little bit of time, but I have a background in editing and I have experience with editing videos and editing photos and all of that kind of stuff. But I'm not using up any more time than I would be anyway, so making this YouTube channel just kind of felt right to me. You know, I have everything here and I'm doing this stuff anyways, and so why would I not share it with you guys? But yeah, that just kind of made sense to me, and you can start to see how a lot of these questions are related. But that's just kind of how it is. You know, I would be doing this stuff anyways and just trying to keep that consistency and creativity going. Because there are times where I have days of just nothing and I have this block of, I don't know what to do. I don't know what video to make. This isn't worth making a video about, and all these other things. And so I try and not think like that, but obviously it happens to everybody. And so the best you can do is just try to keep going and trying to do something new. But I hope I've been able to answer all of your guys' questions. If you guys have any more questions for me, drop a comment down below and I will answer it in the next Q&A. Seriously, thank you guys so much for watching. This is going to wrap up today's video. If you guys have any feedback for me, make sure to, again, drop a comment down below on any questions that you might have, and to also let me know about this style of video if that's something that you like. But seriously, once again, thank you guys for watching. If you liked the video, make sure to like it and subscribe, and also click the join button for the channel members if you are interested. But seriously, thank you, and I hope to see you next time. Bye for now.